Welcome everyone to the Lexen Ironworks full product review. So this in front of me is the Powerpohl. So Lexen Ironworks has created a very unique piece of equipment, something that is going to change the way you train posterior chain. So posterior chain, your low back, your glutes, your hamstrings, very underutilized area in the gym. People do not understand the reasons behind why they need it. My goal is to enlighten you through the use of the Powerpohl as to why you guys should be training and why specifically you want to or don't want to invest in this piece of equipment. So let's start. For those of you guys who don't know, we judge our products based on pricing, quality, usage, footprint, and customer service. That is the way we run all of our product reviews. Now, this particular product, let's start with the first category, that is pricing. So the Powerpohl from Lexen Ironworks is going to run you $450. That is not a terrible investment. This is a good product to get into your house, into your home gym, or into your public gym. Now, that price is affordable for what it is that you are getting out of this product. I'm going to give it a 7.8. Anything above a 5 is good. 7.8 is a good score. Very fair. $450 is a moderate investment for one single piece of equipment, but it is by no means high. And as I pointed out, it's quite versatile, and I'm going to get into that once I get into the usage category. First, let's talk about quality. So quality is the second category, and that is what I am going to talk about here. We have a very well-made piece of equipment. Starting with the actual fabrication, this is very, very durable. I can tell the fabrication on this product. This is not their first iteration, and the person who did this did very, very good. The welds are clean. The angles are exact. It is a very balanced piece of equipment. When you're using it, you're going to feel as though it is centered on you. It's not going to feel like it's going to be shifting or moving. The actual product itself has a lot of variability as far as where you can place the pin, where you can adjust the pin to. You can actually take this apart just like this and take the pin out for storage purposes. So the quality of this is very good. The one thing I will say to watch out for, anytime you have a product where you have powder coat on steel, you have wear and tear. So you're going to get some chipping, you're going to get some wear on the actual product itself, and the paint is going to start to come apart over time. So be aware of that. Now, all that to be said, I'm going to give the quality a good score. I'm going to give it an 8.8. That's a good piece of equipment. Anything above a 7 especially is really good. 8.8, I think this is really well made. It's durable. I like equipment that is overbuilt, not underbuilt. I want it to be something that I know I can throw all my big, beefy clients under and they're not going to have any issues with it. That is the Powerpohl. So very well made to give it an 8.8. Let's talk about usage. Now, this category is an interesting one because I, as a sports therapist, I, as a coach, I like to think of things in terms of what is their application from a training standpoint? What is the average person going to do with this, or rather not be able to do with this if and when they purchase it? So usage for this is going to require the understanding of hinge movements. That is a must, and that is easier said than done. A lot of my clients who come in here, they have a real problem with hinge-related movements. They don't understand what it is that they're supposed to do. If I'm cueing them to hinge at the waist, they don't know what that means. They don't understand how to contract the glutes, how to stretch the hamstrings, how that movement, it really is like a lost art, the art of hinging. So how does that relate to the Powerpohl? Every single thing you're going to do with this almost certainly is going to require you to have a knowledge of that. So because of that, the usage of this, it's a high barrier to entry. That's just, I would say a mid to high barrier of entry when it relates to the knowledge of hinge is needed in order to run exercises with the Powerpohl. Because of that, I'm going to give the usage of 4.5. It does a very good job with what it does. It does Zercher squats, front squats, back squats, and hinge related movements with the pin right here in front, but all of them will require an understanding of biomechanics from the user. It is not a user-friendly piece of equipment. As such, the score suffers. 4.5 is the score for the usage. Let's talk footprint. A very interesting piece of equipment when it comes to footprint. You would think that just seeing this here in front of me, this is not really all that big or cumbersome, especially when it is split in half. But storing this, because of its shape, has become a bit of a interesting challenge on my part, even with the wall control panels. It's not something that is easy to hang or store on a shelf. It's quite wide and it's even longer. You can see that like this thing, like if you were to just like pick this up and look at it, it is going to have a home. You're going to have a place for it. Now, it is not a bad footprint. We're not talking about a squat rack or something that's going to take up an enormous space in your house. But I think people will be surprised at the way they have to figure out a place to put this. This is not just something, this is going to stick out. So I'm going to give it a middle of the road. I'm going to give it a 5.2. So that's above average. It's not a terrible score for a footprint, but it is something, the score is reflective of the fact that you guys need to be aware that you're going to need to have a home selected specifically for this. All right, let's talk customer service. Now, anytime I have a company where I have had neither bad nor good, I haven't had a problem that they intentionally went out of their way to solve, and even worse, I haven't had a problem arise that they refused to solve. Therefore, a really good score or a really bad score, not going to be the case here, going to be very middle of the road. We give it a 6.1. 6.1 customer service. Lexen Ironworks has answered any of my questions. I haven't had a lot of them, but again, getting back to the usage, I had a knowledge of hinge-based movements when I picked this thing up. I knew precisely what it was for. I knew how to use it. I knew how to coach with it. That's why I did so well. But some of you may have questions. In fact, if you get this, I'm guessing you will. Lexen Ironworks, I'm sure, will answer all of those questions for you. So the total score, when all said and done, 6.48. 6.48 for the Lexen Ironworks Powerpohl. A very, very worthwhile piece of equipment. The high score is definitely going to be the quality. It is so well made. It is such an incredible job that they've done here. Their padding, their fabrication, their welds, everything is just very, very well made. The usage going to be the score that hurts them the most. You're going to have an understanding on how do you do this. If you guys have questions on this, you can ask me directly. It's a sport-specific piece of equipment. You need to have some knowledge about what you're doing before you try to get this. I would definitely invest your time and your knowledge before you invest your money in this. If you guys like that score and you have a question about it, or even worse, you don't like that score and you got critiques for me, let me know. As always, subscribe and enjoy the channel.